Hello, welcome back to Mr. Hall's Storytime. It is Bank Holiday Monday and I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Today we're reading The Furry Finger Warmer. Remember, the elephant has just taken Mr. Meek for a ride. That's what we got to. So, with its trunk whirring like a propeller, the elephant soared above the clouds. It was bitterly cold all the way up there where the sky meets outer space. Mr. Meek found himself covered in a light dusting of ice, just like a lolly fresh out the freezer. He looked down at his finger, to his unsurprise. Yes, this is a real word. The thing was still very much attached to it. Its one eye was blinking due to the cold. Despite the pain which, as previously described, was indescribable, it was at least the one part of Mr. Meek's body that was not freezing. The thing was a furry finger warmer. The only problem was that you couldn't take it off. Now, hundreds of miles from where it lived, the elephant was ready to take revenge and drop its load in an instant. Mr. Meek's trousers became unhooked from the tusk. Ah! He screamed as he tumbled through the sky. Whizz! Hobby, hobby! Cried the elephant. There he is, being dropped by the elephant. If Mr. Meek didn't act fast, he would be nothing more than a splattering of bolognese sauce on the ground. If only he had a parachute. Mr. Meek looked at the round furry thing still attached to his finger. Ding! He had an idea. An idea so utterly preposterous that it might just work. Now, according to the Monsterpedia, things could vary dramatically in size. Sometimes they were as small as a marble. Other times they were the size of a hot air balloon. With this in mind, as Mr. Meek was plummeting towards the ground, wonder what he's going to do. He began blowing air into the other end of the thing as quickly as possible. The thing's eyes flickered. Whatever was the man doing? Just like a lilo, the creature began to inflate. Soon it was the size of a football, then a beach ball, then Mr. Meek used every last bit of puff he had. The thing was now 100 times or more its original size. Not only was it as big as a hot air balloon, it worked like one too. Now, instead of falling, Mr. Meek was floating up and away. "I'm flying!" he exclaimed. There he goes, flying away. Thing saved him. Chapter 21, Hot Air Finging. Now all Mr. Meek had to do was steer a course home. As he saw the continents roll by hundreds of miles beneath him, he thought happily about all the money he was saving on airfares. Using his leg as a rudder, Mr. Meek steered a course over Africa, across mainland Europe, to the British Isles. Every now and again he would blow more air into the thing's end to stop it from deflating. There you go, there's the map. So he started off in South America, made his way back to the British Isles. Best of all, the Monsterpedia was still tucked safely down the back of his trousers, and even though there was an overdue fine to pay, there could have been a much heftier one for a lost book. Mr. Meek was mightily pleased with himself. If he could have, he would have given himself a pat on the back. He'd invented a brand new mode of travel, hot air finging. This is a variation of hot air ballooning. Hot air ballooning is not to be confused with hot air babooning. This is when baboons talk absolute nonsense for hours on end. In a matter of days, Mr. Meek was floating over his town, then his street, then his house. A smug look spread across his face. What a super surprise he had for his darling daughter. Not only had he cheated death, but he had brought her the greatest present of all. Something of a myth, something of a legend, something from another world. Thing? "I've done it," hollered father. "Little old me." He reached up to the furry ball to embrace it. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." for never letting go, for letting me blow air into your world. Unfortunately, the man squeezed too hard on the thing. Its one eye widened in shock, just like a balloon. The air spluttered out infinitely, faster than you could put it in. Whiz! Mr. Meek had been heading for his garden, looking forward to a nice, gentle landing on the lawn. He was not going to make it. He was not going to make it. He was heading straight for the house. No! He screamed. Father was going too fast. He crashed through the roof. Kabam! Boom, boom! He smashed through the first floor before landing in a dusty heap on the living room carpet. Oof! Fortunately, the Monsterpedia, which was still down the back of his trousers, cushioned the fall. If not, he might very well have suffered from a broken bottom. Not something for which you want to be admitted to hospital. Doctor, doctor, it's my bottom. I fear it may be broken. Just let me see. Oh, this is embarrassing. Yes, it is broken. We're going to have to put a cast on it for the next month or so. What if I need the toilet? I'm afraid you'll just have to hold it in. Yipes! Please remind me to take that back to the library, said Mr. Meek. There's a fine to pay. All he cares about is his book. I'll leave there for today. The next chapter tomorrow is called Beard Down to His Belly Button. I wonder how Myrtle's going to react to having the thing in her life. Find out tomorrow. Thank you for listening.